everyone. I'm Nina Collins here from Revel. This is our weekly recording of Raging Gracefully, our podcast. And we're here today in conversation with Sally Mueller, CEO and co-founder of Womaness, which is this amazing product kind of around changing the conversation around menopause, non-hormonal menopause solutions for women in the second half of life. I think if I can paraphrase. And I'm always really interested in having conversations with women who are in this space, because obviously we're in this space of kind of celebrating women our age. And so welcome, Sally. I'm very glad to have you.
Thank you, Nina. It's such an honor to be on your podcast.
Yeah, really glad to have you here. So on the website, the About Us page, there's a quote from your co-founder, Michelle, saying, "Women at this stage of life are the coolest, smartest, most interesting women we know." And that totally resonated with me because I think it's really true, right? There's like a level of wisdom and freedom at this age. So I want to know all about why you started. I have a lot of questions about Womaness, but I'd like to actually go to your background first, if you don't mind. So I didn't even read Sally's bio because it's very long and very impressive. She's a long, long history as a marketing brand expert, and you worked for 20 years at Target, and you developed the Design for All program, which, if I understand, is that the program that started with like Michael Graves, where you guys started bringing in big designers?
Yes. And
Very impressive. That is
I mean, I led it from a marketing standpoint. I worked with a lot of other people to make it all happen because it was such a big initiative at Target. And we had kind of sub programs too. Like I worked on Go International, which was all about bringing those cool fashion designers.
Yeah, because you've done it with everyone. I may be remembering it incorrectly, but I think the first one that I was aware of was Michael Graves, which now seems like a million years ago, with like the modern teapots. But of course, since then, I feel like, tons of designers have done clothing lines at Target, and they're fabulous.
Yeah, so yes, Michael Graves was I call him the godfather of design for Target. Mm-hmm. And then it was after Michael Graves, I believe it was like we brought in Philippe Starck because
that's right.
He's such an incredible designer, and he had this whole philosophy, about kind of taking those everyday objects and elevating them, similar to Michael Graves, but he had his own obviously twist on them. And then in apparel, we started bringing in like Massimo, and then it was Isaac Mizrahi, and then it was Liz Lang, and the list goes on. And then in 2005, we decided to do the kind of like the short-term program, really inspired by what Topshop was doing.
Right, where it's like a burst. You get a quick release of stuff and it sells out quickly.
Yes. So at the end of the day, one day on a plane ride, I was making a list, and I think I counted 70. I think I signed on 75 designers while I was involved in that. And that's not all that I was doing at Target. I was really involved in like running the business, helping to promote fashion and reinvent brands. And it was such an exciting career. Yeah. But after about 24 years, I thought, I'm approaching 45. Mm-hmm. Is now the time to take the leap and start my own business. And
did you feel like oppressed by corporate life?
I felt like I had kind of done everything I was going to do there. And I was always an entrepreneur inside Target, and very connected to the external world, which took a lot of time, but I'm so glad I did it. Yeah. Because, it just kept me fresh, and I had so many great connections, and that really motivated me to decide to, start my own business. So
to start your own business.
Took the leap when I was 45 and started my own like brand consulting business.
And then how many years after that did you start Womaness, and why?
It was about 11 years later.
Oh, so a while. So you did a brand consulting for a long time.
Yeah. So in that kind of 10 to 11 year span, I had my own business twice. I was in-house at 2 different clients twice.
Oh, wow. So you moved, which clients?
Every 2 years, I was kind of evolving my career. And I would say my biggest claim to fame in those 10, 11 years was helping to bring Who What Wear to Target. So you're very fashion forward. Who What Wear was an incredible media company, and it still is today. Yeah. And approached Catherine and Hillary, the co-founders, about taking the Who What Wear media brand into a line of product. And because they were known for community and content and fashion credibility and street style. And they were like, oh my gosh, this is my dream, you know, our dreams to do this. We've always wanted to do something with Target. And, you know, I said, well, I think I'm the person to help you.
I know Target really well.
Yeah, given that, you know, my past. And so helped put kind of you know, the go-to-market strategy together and help make that happen. But I wasn't in-house yet. I had my own business at that point. Mm-hmm. And then after we launched and it really became successful, then Catherine, the CEO of Who What Wear, said, you know, you should really come work with me. Mm-hmm. Because you want to build brands and I want to build brands and we're going to be much stronger together. So I did that and it was incredible, like 4 to 5 years that I was with them.
Wow.
And yeah, during that time we did, you know, some really great projects with Target and activewear. I helped take Who What Wear internationally, extended it into, you know, different lines of product, was also able to incubate Versed, which is a clean skincare brand that's at Target. Mm-hmm. And you know, has distribution in Canada. And
so as you're talking, I'm thinking Sally's never going to get away from Target because this relationship has been really good for you. So
I really didn't want to be known as the Target girl, but I really wanted to make sure that as long as I was so knowledgeable about Target, why not bring them the first opportunities? And
Target. Wait, do you hate when people say Target? I don't think people say that anymore, right? There was a period where people always said Target, which I thought was super stupid. How do you feel about it?
Well, we made a pact that we were never going to repeat that. You know, if guests wanted to say it, great. We didn't.
Okay, but you were not going to encourage it.
Yeah. We were not going to say it ourselves when we were at Target because it was, you know, it just, like yeah. We wanted to be a little bit more intelligent than that. But
all right, that's good. Okay, so I mean, I'm impressed with how innovative you are and how, I mean, like a lot of us, right, women in our 40s and 50s, a lot of us have had multiple careers and zigs and zags, and you've continued to push yourself constantly. What took you to the state where you wanted to create a consumer brand? Because that's a big thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, there were kind of two things that happened. Personally, I knew, you know, I was going through menopause, and I had just kind of I would say 2-year span of being in perimenopause. And so I knew that, you know, I wasn't blind to the fact that I was going through all these changes, but what I didn't realize was that menopause was more than just hot flashes.
Right. It's a whole state of life.
It's a whole slew of symptoms. You know?
How old are you now, may I ask?
So I'm 58. So this was probably like 48 when I was in the thick of
that's when I was
menopause. Yeah. And, you know, just traveling all over because of my career. And I had, you know, at the time, kids in like junior high and or high school, constantly juggling a million things. And my health was just always put on the back burner. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I definitely remember meeting with doctors here in the, you know, I live in Minnesota. So I was like meeting with local doctors, but no one seemed to really know anything about menopause.
It's amazing.
Oh yes.
Over and over again.
Now that I know so much more, I know why, but I'll get to that in a minute. But I decided to sign up for a physical at the Mayo Clinic. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it was obviously covered under my insurance, and it's only an hour from my house. And I thought I should go to the institution of Mayo Clinic. They have the best doctors. And I found myself in a really interesting conversation with a female doctor in the Women's Health Center. And she educated me about menopause. She told me what I was going through was very typical. And it made me feel better. I mean, I felt kind of like, I must be stupid because I don't know anything about this. But I also felt better because she was so gracious about it, you know, and she just reassured me that I wasn't alone. And the aha moment for me was that she had given me a list of product to try, over-the-counter product, go on Amazon, check these products out, supplements, lubricants, that kind of thing. And I went home that night and looked, and I remember saying to my husband, I am never buying any of these products. And he was like, you mean you just wasted a whole day at Mayo Clinic? He was kind of disappointed that I wasn't going to buy some of the lubricants.
Right,
And
of
I
course.
said, no, I'm not buying these products.
Because as a branding person, they looked so unappealing.
They were so unappealing. It didn't, the names were just masculine. I felt like they were made decades ago.
Things like Estroven and Reverie, and I'm trying to think of all the old.
Yes.
Yeah.
Astroglide and
The same Astroglide, the same things that same thing, right? When I
yeah,
started.
it felt scary. Like I didn't want to put those things in my body.
Right. Well, and then also people at the time, I remember, were recommending all sorts of weird supplements, and I went to the health food store and I spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on, Evening Primrose and all sorts of things.
Right.
My doctor later told me to throw away.
Yeah. So that was really my moment, because I remember thinking, why am I not tackling this space? I'm a brand person. I'm constantly thinking about, millennials, because I'm in that world.
Right. And you've just been told this is a completely common experience that everyone goes through. And you're like, where are the products?
Right. And I started doing research and 50 million women are going through it. It must be a huge market. There's not one brand out there that's really a total solution. Mm-hmm. And, I just helped incubate first. So I knew a lot about skincare. And I thought, my skin has changed so much too. There must be an opportunity to address the change of skin when you go through menopause. So
the dehydration of our skin.
Right. So that was really the moment of when I knew I wanted to do this. I knew it was my calling.
And how many years ago was that?
That was about 3.5 to 4 years ago. So I waited, I waited a while. I mean, I loved my job at Clique, but I just felt like I was getting to a point where I was ready to do something on my own. And, I have always worked for someone else, or, yes, when I had my own business, I was still consulting for someone, it wasn't my own.
Yeah.
And Michelle, my co-founder, and I met like 15 years ago, and she was selling Target when she was at Time Inc. And that's how we started our friendship. But when I decided to do this, I was meeting with her in New York over a glass of wine. And I said, this is something that I've really started to research and I'm super excited about it. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm excited about it, because all these women that I see in my, that I have in my life,
everyone needs.
In my sister's life that's a little bit older, they're either leaving their jobs because they've had it. They want to start something new and exciting. That's kind of like the no bullshit era, where you just like, I'm not going to put up with this anymore.
Right. The whole no more fucks to give thing.
Yeah. I'm going to do something I've always wanted to do. So we kind of took that insight along with the need for education and the need for products to build Womaness. Really, our mission today, is all about modernizing.
Where did the name Womaness come from?
Oh, honey. It took us a year to get the name.
It's a great look. I mean, I love your branding.
Thank you. We had so many other names, and we knew we wanted almost a name that sounded like a platform, that could eventually be.
Womaness does sound like a platform.
Yeah, thank you. And we really wanted it to sound like it had a language.
What was the runner-up? Curious.
Oh, I loved, Womankind was one, but it was too. It was not trademarkable. That makes sense.
Slightly generic, but good.
I really loved, both Michelle and I really loved Womaness. I mean, once we landed on it and my attorney felt like it was going to be trademarkable, then really fell in love with it. And then, there's all these fun words that you can put, nest words, sexiness, agelessness. I mean, there's a whole vocabulary. So the brand just keeps growing, and there's so many layers to it, which is why we love it.
That's great. So now you have products, you have sleep products, you have skincare products, you have mood, hot flashes, vaginal dryness, low libido, you have an incontinence, a panty liner product, and you have quite a big product line. I guess I want to know, how many products do you have, and are they white labeled? Do you guys make them all? Did you have to learn all about manufacturing here?
Yes. Well, we both had manufacturing experience. So they are originally formulated. That's okay. Originally formulated. We worked actually with gynecologists. We worked with a skin expert who's an expert in like formulating skincare for women over 40. So knew a lot about ingredients that we should choose. Obviously, we knew we wanted clean skincare, a whole line of obviously clean products. And so we had a very strict no list. We knew we wanted to be, as you said, estrogen free, soy free. We wanted to be gluten free. All of those criteria went into this. So
I'm curious, how did you make the decision? I mean, obviously going down the pharmaceutical route is a whole other thing, but how did you develop your stance on hormones? And what is your stance on hormones?
And our stance is we actually believe HRT is a very good option for women. And I'm actually now on it.
You are, I was about to ask, I am too. After resisting
on it like 2 months ago. I'm almost past the point of not being able to go on it, but I'm really going on it mainly because of bone health. For us.
I just had I'm 53 next month, and I just had a bone density test for the first time and discovered that I have osteopenia, so the precursor. So I also went on it 2 years ago and really love it. And I resisted because my mom had breast cancer and died of breast cancer and all the reasons. But I feel like for brain health, for heart health, it's
right. No, it's really a good option for most women. Obviously, some women just do not want to be on it. My mom really freaked me out about going on it. She's early on, I could have gone on it. I mean, Mayo wanted to put me on it. And my mom was like, you can't go on any hormones. It causes cancer. Well, that's the old misperception.
I know, same with me. My boyfriend's mom is 91 years old and lives in Kansas. And she was one of the co-authors of Our Body, Ourselves. She's very well informed about women's health and very anti-hormones because she's 91 years old and she grew up in that era. And when I went on hormones, I just had to say to her, like, it's a different world now. But that's too bad that you got so scared.
It would have helped me with. Now I'm in full blown osteoporosis. So,
I'm sorry.
But back to the line, we really worked with experts in each category. For the supplements, we had a nutritionist and a scientist that worked side by side with us. And we obviously chose, very specific contract manufacturers that could also provide expertise. So we went to what we thought the best set of experts and manufacturers in skincare, the best in supplements, and the best in sexual wellness.
How did you get funded initially? Did you do this on your own?
So it's so funny you ask. We put in our own money at the beginning, enough to get the brand incubated, enough to get product development started, enough to get retailers interested in it, because we launched at Target, in our first year. So we had a lot to do before we even went public with anything. And so all of that required money. And my husband just kept saying, just keep writing out a check, even if we have to take out line of credit, just keep going. Thank God he did that, because can you imagine if my partner had said, no, I would have freaked out. I wouldn't have known. So both Michelle and I are very supportive husbands that kept saying, keep going. So we put in our own money. Then when it got time to raise the money, we knew how much we wanted to raise. Guess what happened? The pandemic. Literally almost to the day. We were going out like March 1st.
Oh my God. How much were you trying to raise?
We were trying to raise 3.5 to 3 million. We ended up raising more than that, but it was a long, windy road to get there. And we didn't even close until October.
Wow.
And by then we had to write POs. I mean, it was really stressful, but we ended with phenomenal investors that support, they just love
that's great
journey. So
I mean, and now you're at Target, Amazon, Ulta, GNC, QVC, right? You're all over the place.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourselves kind of the leader in this space now? I mean, there are a lot, you have competition, right? This is a space that's really grown up.
Yeah, there's stuff, and we're friendly with our competition, which is
I feel like we're all in the same big
we have a lot of respect for each other, and I think we're each doing something different, but I think we're the most accessible. Like we're, everything is under $40.
Mhm.
And we're the most accessible, not just from a price point, but also from a distribution. Like if you need the product, you can easily buy our product.
Can easily find it.
We're not just womaness.com. You can go to Target, you can go to Ulta Beauty on Amazon, or you can find our supplements at GNC. So I think that's a big piece of our point of difference. Plus we have the most expansive line.
Yeah, you
We
have
have
a very big line.
We have 16 products, and they range from skincare to supplements to sexual wellness. So
Mhm.
it's pretty
And
expansive.
what's been the biggest, I mean, it sounds like raising money was hard, obviously, during the pandemic. Aside from that, what's been the biggest challenge, would you say? Because I feel like this space is obviously growing, and the
Yeah.
pandemic has thrown a wrench in fundraising for everyone. But it does also feel to me like, even though Evernow raised all that money in telemed, it feels like this is still a hard space to penetrate, even though places like Forbes and, they tell us it's a whatever, $650 billion industry.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what's the biggest challenge for you?
I think it's not reaching the woman, but the challenge is it's not as clear of a playbook as like a millennial brand. And I can say that because I did launch millennial brands.
That's
It's
really
because our woman is 30s. We know from our own site, she's in her late 30s, all the way past 65.
Mhm.
So think about that
Same as
digital
us. That's the
behavior.
same as us on Revel, and it's very difficult
Okay.
because are you
Isn't
targeting
it?
a 40-year-old or are you targeting a 65-year-old?
I know. And, our woman still likes to watch the nightly news because we've seen it when we've been on. We've been blessed with some really good press, and we see our sales go way up after being on the news. So she's still consuming traditional media. But then of course she's on Facebook, she's on Instagram. So we're not big enough yet to be in both places. So we have to use, press and other ways to get the traditional media and reach that woman. And then we use Facebook and social media, and obviously just any other forms of digital media to reach the woman that's online. But it's this bifurcation. I mean, I'm sure you have friends that are like, I've had it. I'm not going on Facebook.
Right.
Well, she has a lot of money to spend. She wants to be a Womaness customer. How am I going to reach her?
Yeah.
So
That's
it's
interesting.
really
we have
that challenge.
we have the same problem, but I'm interested. Like, why is that different from millennials? Isn't there also a big span for millennials? Isn't it
I think
like if you're
there's a
doing a younger
span, but
product,
they're so digitally minded, their
it's easier
behavior,
to
they've grown
find.
up. Yeah, they've grown up online. And I just know from my who, what, where days. It's just, there's certain influencers that really move product. Our influencers are so important to us. They're more for building trust and credibility and community than maybe reaching our woman.
They don't sell products as much.
Not as much, but I think like millennial influencers, with 1 million followers can actually sell product.
Yeah.
It's a very different, like every tactic or strategy is different.
Do you think it's harder in general to just sell to women our age?
I think our woman is more discerning. I think she's skeptical until someone tells her that it works, and that's why we went to the expense of testing everything with doctors. So we could say doctor tested.
Yeah.
And we, as even a small brand without any revenue, we were spending, $35,000 on a third party study because we wanted to be able to stand behind our products and have that immediate trust factor. But I do think our woman this age, think about it. She's bought so much product in her life.
Yeah, we've bought a lot of products. We've bought a lot of products for a lot of people.
Exactly. You tried, much like your supplement experience. I had the same thing. You've tried a bunch of supplements. They didn't do anything. So I'm now skeptical about any supplements.
Yeah.
So I think it's more, I think it is different. I think it is harder.
Yeah. What's your most popular product?
Well, Let's Neck is definitely one of our top selling items.
What's that?
It's called Let's Neck.
Oh, Let's Neck. Yeah, yeah, your neck firming product. Yeah.
Yes, it's really great serum, but it also has a cooling roller that's really great for massaging your neck. Um, it's just, it has a lot going for it because, you know, not only is it a good product, but I think it's very marketable. It's a whole experience.
Yeah,
On the
yeah.
Ellen show once, and it's been kind of a PR darling. So of course
Oh,
that's
that's great.
Michelle.
Yeah, you know, for my 50th birthday, I got not one, but two of those quartz face rollers as
Yeah,
a gift.
really.
And when I remember to use it, it is a really fun little experience. So
Yeah,
I could
yeah,
imagine having, I haven't used your neck roller product. I should definitely do
yeah.
that. That
Well, I'll
sounds
have to
fun.
send you some
So
product.
that's good. Yeah.
So that's really
Um,
popular. Actually, our menopause supplement is really, really popular. I mean, a lot of women are finding success because it's made with pycnogenol,
oh
which
yeah,
is
people rave about pycnogenol.
pycnogenol. I know my husband is like, men need to take it because it's
Yeah.
really about blood circulation. It helps, I think, break down the plaque in your arteries too. So it has a lot of
I'm not
benefits.
taking it. Maybe I should be taking it. Are you taking it in addition to hormone?
Yeah, I'm taking menopause, but it's you know, I mean, that's the main ingredient. And
Yeah.
we didn't, you know, shy away at putting the 60 milligrams in, which is what the clinical studies have been based on. So a lot of women are emailing us saying they tried a lot and they're finally seeing, you know,
Wow.
success with menopause. So it's the all-around menopause supplement.
Okay, that's great. That's good to know. And then my last question for you is I read that your mom was an entrepreneur, and I'm curious because you have really, you're a role model for, you know, an amazing career. What did your mom do? And what was the
Oh
message you
my
learned from
gosh. My mom she actually was a teacher, and she left her teaching career and started to open Merle Norman cosmetic studios.
her?
Now,
Oh,
Merle
wow.
Norman is not a household name, but
I
it started
remember
in
it.
the 30s, and it's huge in the South in California. And it's really based on like these 3 steps to beauty. It has really good product. Their marketing hasn't evolved very well, in both of our opinions, but she had studios for 40 years. So I grew up working for
Wow.
her, interacting with women that would come in and say, okay, I want a makeover, because we'd give free makeovers. That was part of our
Yeah.
promise. And these women would feel so good about themselves after the makeover. I mean, that's what really got in my blood, was just seeing the transformation that would happen, not just physically, but mentally. You know, women felt so much more confident after these makeovers. And
That's a great story. So like products, you saw how kind of products and marketing and merchandise, like
yeah,
how it
yeah,
affected women's life and self-esteem, and
yes.
also obviously very much a woman's world you were in growing up.
Yeah, and it's that personalized interaction. So we try to bring that into Womaness. You know, just I love talking to customers and just making them feel important too, because everyone has a story and they just want to be heard. So I grew up in that environment. And then my dad was always telling me, don't work for a big company, don't work for a big company, because he worked for a big company and then he worked actually in the prison systems in Minnesota. And he was an entrepreneur inside Control Data, put him in
Wow.
this really cool program where he set up industries in prisons, and he loved it. So I had 2 entrepreneurial parents, and they kept, you know, it was crazy at my house because we were all always working.
That is amazing. Sorry, someone in the audience just asked a question. Is it Womaness? Yes, Womaness
Yeah.
is the product. Sally, why don't you hold up a product so that people can see?
Okay. I
Talk about
have,
what it is.
yes, thank you. I
Yeah,
have
that's
our
the brand.
body
That's what it
cream.
looks like. It's a very
Yeah.
groovy look.
Does that
The woman's
look
look.
right?
So what's next for you guys? Are you planning on expanding into other areas?
Well, we have so much expansion planned just in skincare, supplements, and sexual wellness. If you can believe, there's so much more that we need to do to really service our
You have a
customers.
vibrator also, speaking of sexual wellness.
Yes, I
So,
do. And I have it right here if you want me to hold it up, because it
yeah,
looks
we'd
like
love to see
lipstick.
it.
It looks like a little lipstick.
That's a nice looking one.
Very
That's very
discreet.
handsome.
It comes off, so you can use it either
Oh,
way.
look at that.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very high class. So
that is very high class.
we're continuing to create more content for education, because that's been such a huge driver for a brand. We work with the Mayo Clinic, so we really want to build a deeper relationship with them. We work with Dr. Javaid that owns her MD. So we're really building out our experts, because women, we've learned so much that women want to, they want to be informed. They want to hear from these experts. And then this fall, we're really excited about just more events and being out in the community and
Yeah, I was
talking
about to say, so more community, more engagement
more
with women. I mean,
community, more
that's like,
engagement. Yeah.
that's
But
what everyone wants to do. Well, and we do, sometimes I feel so immersed in the menopause world that I feel like, don't we all know now about hot flashes? But we don't. I mean, your story is completely like, so universal, right? Women suffer
yeah,
in silence. They go to
right,
doctors, they
right.
don't get the help that they need. VG in the audience asks, what do you have for hot flashes and menstrual cramps?
I would say menopause is known for helping hot flashes and even menstrual cramps. Pycnogenol has studies that really back the menstrual cramps too. So
Yeah, so there's supplement
menopause,
menopause. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Phenogenal, is that how it's pronounced? People
Uh,
really, I keep hearing about it. So,
yes. So this is the supplement.
and you can
Um,
get it at Target and Amazon and Ulta and GNC,
yes, yes, it's
QVC, all
very
the.
widely available, and it is $39.99. But that's because pycnogenol is so expensive. It's a very expensive ingredient. It's
Where does everything get made? All of your stuff?
most of it's in the US. We formulate, we buy ingredients from all over the world, but it's all put together, formulated in the US. So we're happy about that.
Great. Well, it's lovely to meet you, Sally. I really enjoyed meeting your
Oh,
partner
thank
when
you,
you both of you were
Nina. Thank
together. And
you.
thank you for telling us all about Womaness, and good luck. I think you guys are
Oh,
doing amazing work, and I love the way it looks. And
thank
I
you.
just,
That means a lot, because you have such incredible taste, and
oh, thank you.
you're so
No, it's
knowledgeable
really
about this area. So,
you. All right. Well, take care. Have a good week. And I'll see you at the
okay. Thanks,
menopause event
Nina.
for sure.
All right.
All right. Take care, Sally.
Okay.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.